They are held captive by the pain of abandonment, ridicule, and confusion. They are forced into being slaves of their past and in living beyond their generation. Raised with the prospects of becoming women of value, many teenage mothers cannot help to contend with the challenges and difficulties that accompanies motherhood. In a little-known village of Ugathi, now in Siaya County, Nyanza Province, we meet 18-year-old Celine, a teenage mother whose ambitions to encounter the outside competitive world came to a standstill. Celine's journey of desperation began back in 2009 as she was preparing for her final examinations in Ugathi Primary.
I sat for my final examinations at Ugathi Primary. Then I gave birth 2 months later, and because of that, I have been unable to continue with my education.
1 year later, Celine can only afford to hold on to her dreams as acting on them proves to be a tall order, a fact her emotions could not let her speak about. We then decide to talk to Celine's father. Unaware of what hardships awaits his daughter, he is only left to the question, what good can fate bring?
I
wanted to get her at least a course so that she can be able to go far, even if it's sewing or any other course that can help her in future.
Trekking 200 meters from Celine's home takes us to her former school, and here we meet Mr. Kevin Omenya, the deputy head teacher.
One thing that shocked me when I came in is after 2 weeks, I discovered there was only a madam teacher in school, and I discovered there are around 7 pupils, that is between class 6 and 7, who are pregnant. By third term, the 7 of them dropped out.
According to Mr. Omenya,
we sat down this year, I think 2 months ago. We realized that the rate of dropout in Bondo district is alarming. Like this year alone, I think around 98 girls have dropped out of school.
Although Celine may not be the only teenage mother, she represents hundreds of thousands of teenage mothers who believe their opportunity in life is not just limited but is long gone, and to whom life will never be the same again. Rosemary Muganda is the director of the Center for the Study of Adolescence.
We design programs that support young people to make a smooth transition to adulthood. You know, from childhood to adulthood, there's this period here, the period of adolescence, when young people have a lot of challenges, you know, making that transition. Teenage motherhood is a problem. Is a problem that the country needs to actually think about.
Barchando Girls Secondary School, a few kilometers away from Bondo town. Here we meet 21-year-old Vivian, a Form 1 student and a mother to a 6-year-old boy. Tracing through Vivian's life experience presents her agonizing past, a past she says was an opportunity to learn the hard way on what life can sometimes offer.
It was just a friend to my cousin. Yeah, he used to come and visit my cousin. And at that time, when he was in class 8, I was in class 2. That means he's too old for me. When I started attending to my periods, nobody could even buy me the sanitary towels, but he could provide them. And then later he told me, "You've been using my money. Can you do something for me?" I told him, "What is it? But did I ask you for anything?" "You didn't ask me for, but you have to." That's when he broke my virginity. And you see, he used to give my cousin money And my cousin now my cousin was in between us. Now he's the one who was connecting us. Used to give him money. There was a hotel around there. So even buy my cousins a cup of tea and chapatis, just a chapati and a cup of tea. I gave birth and went back to school after 1 month. And I left the baby at home with my grandmom. And I just went to school, class 7. Then I did my KCPE and I passed. Then in 2007, I didn't go to school, as in I didn't join Form 2. 2007, 2008, 2009, I was just not in school. Then this year, 2010, I got a sponsorship.
Although entitled to her memory in thinking of her past, Vivian says that it is no longer important. For her, a better future remains her priority.
I'm no longer thinking of my baby so much because yesterday was his birthday. I thought about him, but I said, let me just work hard so that I can have a very big birthday party for him one day.
From a student to a teenage mother, a house help, and back to a student, Vivian says her decision to go back to school is the only way to guarantee herself a brighter future and that of her son.
I just tried to think, and I recalled how I went through the labor pains, you see. I thought, I can't spend this special moment with my son. But I came to realize that I was just wasting time.
And as she looks to the future with renewed optimism, Vivian has set a benchmark for other teenage mothers.
There are girls who are interested in learning. And when they come, Vivian is one of them. They are very positive and they work hard. But the challenge I've had with most of them who conceive and come back to this school and are day scholars is regular absenteeism. One time the child is sick. Next week the child is admitted. You know, the mother cannot stay in school and learn when the child is sick.
With statistics depicting a sorry state, that is, the rate at which young girls drop out of school, it is evident that action needs to be taken if the projected Vision 2030 and Millennium Development Goals are anything to go by.
Why can't we plan and put in place processes and policies that make it possible for this to happen when it should happen, when the women are older, when the women are mature, when their bodies are developed, so that we minimize the risk of complications. We minimize the risk of death from pregnancy-related complications. But that when women also survive the childbirth and become teenage mothers, that they are able to provide for the children, for themselves and their children.
Unlike older parents aged 20 years and above, teenage mothers are met with numerous health challenges, posing the greatest fear to their survival.
Most of them, they attend little antenatal care, probably at the end of it, and you find, or not at all until the time when they deliver. And you find that these are mothers whose bodies, they say that, for example, the pelvic bone, you have to get to the age of 18 before it's fully mature. So you find that these mothers are not even safely able to deliver normally, and you find that the cesarean section rate among this group of women or young girls is high. In the event in which they are not getting medical care, then you find that they have medical complications like obstructed labor, and this can predispose to many things, like, for example, the baby dying, mothers developing fistula, which is a totally different ballgame. They develop fistula in an early age, and all the other conditions, and also the babies that they have, then they score poorly.
With financial constraints continuing to burden many families, teenage motherhood only serves to make matters worse for such families in especially rural and informal settlements.
If they are in school and they get pregnant, they'll have to leave school. So what happens to someone who leaves school before they complete it? What are the future prospects for such a person, both as an individual to that family that has already invested, and also to the country, because government is investing money in education.
Often assumed guilty, stigmatized and seen as betrayers by many in the society, many young mothers are helpless in encountering such social challenges.
I had 7 months of pregnancy. Now there is a day a boy abused me. It was a Saturday. He told me a lot that I said, no, I can't continue. I just went home and told my grandmom, please. And I've been calling her mama. Just told her, Mama, I can't go back.
Before I got pregnant, we had been looking at the possibility of going to the university in Uganda. But with the issue of the pregnancy, I had to change that because I couldn't travel and leave the baby behind. And so we started looking at the possibility of probably doing a degree locally, which was also very tricky because some of the members of the family felt like it wasn't a profitable venture taking me back to school. Some felt that I should have probably done a diploma. Others felt that a business would have been better for me at that point.
Happening in a country with the potential of becoming the breadbasket of Africa, Kenya stands a higher chance of losing this opportunity should the plight of these young girls remain unresolved.
Just like everyone else is saying, HIV/AIDS has devastated our economy and has taken away our, healthy, strong men and women out of, the economic wheel of the country. I think it is time for us to start thinking of something worse than HIV and AIDS. That is the girl-child pregnancy. Because hundreds of girls drop out of school due to pregnancy. When out there, these girls have lost every opportunity of being a successful future mother. There are factories in this country which depends on women almost 60-70%. Talk about the EPZ. How many women are in there? Talk about food factories. How many women work in there? If that workforce is not there, believe me, this country will never grow.
For many teenage mothers and their families, justice is a rare commodity, one which they see as a luxury they will never afford. To them, the strongest will one day have their moment of fatigue.
When I informed him that I was pregnant, he refused and he dumped me. He didn't want to know anything about the pregnancy.
How would they feel if this was their child? And when we ask that question to men, they get very angry. They said, I would kill the person. Now, you would kill the person if they made your daughter pregnant. But you have made another person's daughter pregnant. So why do you think that your child, your 15-year-old daughter, is more special than somebody else's 15-year-old daughter?
Dunia hilo hakika yafaa mtu kupima. Utaazirika, utalia kama ngoma. Yakata mbele na nyuma.
In what is seen by many as a threat to progress in empowering the girl child, different views emerge as to where the solution can be found.
Any man making a young girl pregnant, he should actually pay. Even the African communities used to punish them.
Uwe na ule upinafsi, yani useme kama ingekuwa ni dadangu, yani akifanywa hivi vile nataka kufanya hivi huyu. Itakoje yani to feel yani tu na yani ile feeling ya ndani yani.
The worst thing is to force the girl to be married to the father of the child and there is no love. The child will suffer forever.
And as many of these young mothers have learnt, you can't eat potential. As such, fighting to reclaim their lost dreams and rebuilding their future is a much left for these young mothers.
Away, you pololoka, tafiwa oka, hipyo balo jamo. Anti, don't pele itosi, hoa wale hi, atiojo metadabo. Oh, we